Hello and welcome back to Civil Barrister with me, James Wilson from Park Square Barristers in Leeds. A couple of weeks ago I did a video about the judicial guidance for remote hearing bundles. I put a link up to the judicial guidance for that. The first principle for the bundles is that all bundles must, where the character of the document permits, be the subject of optical character recognition, or OCR. Now that's the process by which a photograph of a document, is usually found in a PDF, is converted into editable text. So converted into a much more word-like document. And that allows judges and parties to search the documents and to search for page numbers, highlight and edit. So shortly I'm going to transfer into a video on my experience with OCR and how I've used that in Adobe DC Pro. Just a couple of thoughts before that. The document says where the character of the document permits to be converted to OCR. Now I've recently compiled a trial bundle in a case where it was the evidence was document heavy. It was based on contracts, constitutions and minutes of committee meetings. I initially converted those to OCR and there was two problems with that. One, it altered the way the document looked. So it didn't have the exact font for the original document and so transferred it into the nearest font. It also squared it up. The photocopies of the document hadn't been excellent nor was slightly askew. And so from the point of view of what the document looked like, it looked better, but in reality it was a different document. And the second point, which is connected, is that the conversion to OCR wasn't perfect. And so some of the words had either been altered slightly or they'd been just changed into symbols. And that really concerned me from an evidential point of view. It might not be in dispute that that's the document. It might be at trial easy to identify those words that have changed. But I'm just a little bit professionally concerned about altering evidence in a trial, especially that evidence upon which the case really revolves. So I'm going for a CMC with this case. I'm going to ask the judge what they want me to do. I wonder if the answer might be convert the whole core bundle to OCR and have original PDF copies at the back. Now that undermines the request from the judiciary to keep the bundle small. The other alternative is to amend or convert witness statements, court orders to OCR and leave the constitutions and committee meetings as they are, which might also be a useful answer. I should tell you that if you've got a Word document which has been converted to PDF without being photocopied and without there being little black marks on it or highlighting or handwritten notes, if it's just a Word document, like this judicial guidance which I've posted, that will be searchable in a PDF in any event. So I wonder whether the OCR might actually, in hindsight, be a bit of a red herring. But anyway, I'm going to transfer you now to my video. If you've got any questions about it, about my experiences, then just put them in the comments and I'll answer those if I can. Right, so here we are in Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. Now, when you download this, you'll be asked to add tools. And when you add those tools, they will appear in this side window here. The important ones, I think, are Edit PDF, Combine Files, Organize Pages. Those are the three most important ones that I've used. So I'll just show you how to combine some files then. So you can see here on the right hand side, combine files. So I've created a bit of a bundle for us to experiment on, but I've added some more. So we're going to add files and it's going to be all of these pictures that I've taken, plus that full document, plus another. So we've got some there. So let's put the full document there. So by double clicking before you merge, you can alter in which order you combine these files. So like that there. Double click that. If you're moving documents around, the line, this blue line here, shows where you're going to be putting it. It's effectively the dividing line between this page here and this page here. And so you move it to the dividing line and it gets flipped into there. So I'm going to combine these pages. Now, the important thing is that this creates a new file called binder 2, and that will save it into the folder that you got the documents from. But what is important, I think, when moving lots of documents around, is that you keep a good record of what this is, of where you are and what this is called. So this is going to be the first draft for service, and I also date them just so that I know when I come back, because you might end up with a number of different documents. So just when I come back, I know where I am. Okay, so the first thing to show you is organize pages. That's this one here. So when you organize pages, it comes up with each page and you can scroll up and down. Now you can, by zooming in here or by using 2 fingers on your pad, you can make that more pages or fewer pages. Now the fewer pages is useful, so it helps you identify what the documents are. The first thing to tell you about editing this document is that there's no Control Z, there's no undo. Alright, so if I move this page from here to here, so now I've moved page 1 to page 2 and vice versa. If I press Control Z, it doesn't undo it. Okay? There's no undo for movement of documents, and that's the same for if you delete them. So when you delete a document, just move this back, when you delete a document, it will say so. Let's delete this page here. So you can either highlight the page and press delete on your screen and you'll get this box up saying are you sure you want to delete, or you can press the trash can and it'll say are you sure you want to delete. Now obviously there's a double there's a protection there from deletion by this box coming, this dialog box coming up, but if you're deleting a number of documents, then you'll tend to start hitting enter pretty quickly, because enter's highlighted. If you pressed enter, that would delete it. So you need to be careful, because we're used to, aren't we, using Word, making a mistake, just pressing Control Z and it all going back to the way it was. But you just need to be careful that if you do delete a document, then it will be gone. So what I do, or what I've found is useful, is I have 2 copies. I have the original PDF in the format that I want it, in the order that I want it, and then I create a copy which I'm going to edit. So that if you delete a page, it's not gone forever. You go back to your original, you find the page, and then you can bring it back in. And you can bring it back in by doing this. You right click on the mouse and you can copy that page. Now this works for importing documents in, but it also works for moving them around. So I've highlighted page 11 of the bundle, and I'm going to paste that in between page 17 and 18. Now the way to do that is to click on the right half of page 17, right click on there and paste. So now I've got a copy of this page, and this is helpfully highlighted in dotted to show that that's the page that I've copied. You then know that that's the page because you can check, you can zoom in and make sure that the highlighted page, which is that one, is page 8 of 117. You go down to the page which you've copied, that is still highlighted as well but not dotted. That is page 8 of 17. So I've copied it, so now I know, don't I, that I can delete that. So page 8 of 17 is gone in that order, but it is here at page 17. Now that works equally. If you right click, you can delete the page, replace the page, or insert pages. You can insert pages from files. So I could insert that page. So I want to insert it after page 17, here. So opening the image, boom, there it is. So now we can also move a number of pages. So you click on the start page that you want to move, hold down Shift, and then you can either use the arrows on your keyboard to do them individually, that's the across arrow, or you can move the down arrow, which will highlight each row that you're on. Or you can highlight it, press Shift, and then scroll down, highlight it, scroll down, then press Shift, and then hit your last page. It's now highlighted all of those pages. And with those pages, I can now right click, I can cut those pages, copy those pages, I can delete those pages, crop them, rotate them, etc. Now the rotate is useful. There might be a number of pictures or plans which are all in the wrong orientation. The judicial guidance is all need to be portrait, so you can rotate those clockwise. You can rotate them counterclockwise, as the Americans would say, or you can cut them. Now, if you cut them and paste them, they'll be gone from their original format, which is why my preference, as I've said, is to copy them and then paste them here. So I've pasted them now. The original copied is still there. Now if I've made a mistake and I've pasted them into the wrong place, I can't undo that with Ctrl Z, but what I can do is right click them and delete them from where they've gone. So they've been removed from where I pasted them, but the original copies are still here. So that's a lot of useful tools in the edit page. To get back to the PDF, you double click whichever page you happen to be on. Now, if you're going to different documents, so I've got two documents running here. Yeah, that's an original, so that's fine. Not an original. So I want to, so let's say I have deleted a page which is easily identifiable. This one. So this is page 5. Oh, I didn't want to delete that. To my original document, have I got a copy of that? Let's go to Organize Pages. Yes, I have got a copy. So I right click that and I copy it. I go back to the original. Now, before I go, so I go back to the original document. I go back to the bundle I'm creating, and I want to paste that page that I've copied here. So I highlight that page, I go to Organize Pages, and I'm here, so I right click on the right hand side of that page, paste, and there it is. So to get back to the PDF, now looking at OCR, now this, so this hasn't been set up as OCR, but this is a PDF, this document here, but it's a PDF which is obviously created directly from Word. So there are a number of things that you can do with this without creating it, without changing it to OCR. You can highlight specific words. You can't delete, but you can, by highlighting and pressing delete, you can strike it through. Now interestingly, the Ctrl-Z does work when editing a Word type document. So if I strike through that, I can get rid of that strike through by pressing Ctrl-Z. Now let's look at OCR. Now the way to set up a page for OCR is by editing PDF. You would have thought it was scan an OCR, but it's not, because it only sets up for an OCR if you tell it that you want to edit that page. So I'm going to edit the page. Now it's scanned that document fairly quickly. This is an important button down here, settings. If you're satisfied that you want to convert the whole document, when you're in edit, you can press settings and then say make all the pages editable. Now I'm not going to press that, because if you do that, you can't undo the whole system of setting it up as an OCR, and you'd have to start again. So be really careful before you decide that you want to make the whole document OCR. So because this is a Word document originally, it was really easy to scan. And so now you can alter a document by deleting that section. You can highlight, you can do most things that you can do in Word really in this format here. So you can change the font, italicize, change the colour, change the format. Really, really, really important thing to mention, I apologise for saying that 3 times, is that if you are still in edit and you move to page 2, it will format that page. So before you scroll down, you need to go back to the document. So this is now OCR formatted and can be searched. This isn't. Now that's perhaps easier to show on a document which is a photograph. And so I've taken some photographs at the bottom, and we're going to have a look at formatting these. So let's look at this page from Darren Goff's autobiography. So let's see what it does with this. Edit PDF. So this is taking a little bit of time. Now, it's turned that round, firstly, which is interesting, but it's made this document firstly landscape. Now, because this is a photograph, for reasons which I'm afraid I simply don't understand, it has changed the size of that. Let's alter this page and see what happens here. So that's still very, very small. So let's look at the view, page display. So this is clearly a problem which is going to present itself in certain types of documents. But if you see this text here, now that's misspelled this word, for instance, captain. So that goes back to what I was talking about altering different documents, because we can change that. We can change captain and respell it. It's got the fonts wrong, so let's just change it to 11, perhaps a little larger, 14. And you can see the problems that we've got here, can't you? So this is clearly one of those documents which would come under the exception, I would say. Now this is perfectly fine. It's got a text format here, so that's easily editable and easily readable. But that has altered the actual document, hasn't it? So I think you need to be careful about that. Let's see what it does to this one. Because this is a picture again, it's changed the ability to view it at 100%. So that's something else that you need to be aware of. The judicial guidance is that they're all at 100%. Very difficult to change the view for images within a document. Right, so that's worked pretty well. Now just you can move you can alter the size of something on pictures. You can delete words. You can alter where that appears. In that edit, Control Z does work. So I think that shows, doesn't it, that things which are pictures of documents will cause you problems unless they're easily identifiable as typing. So let's see what happens. This is just a book, but it's a picture of a book, and so it's immediately zoomed in. Again, this is Darren Gough's biography. And look what it's done to the words because the picture wasn't taken straight. So you're obviously going to need to take care and have a little bit of trial and error. But if we go back to this training guide here, and edit this page, really simple to edit that. So that took a split second. That is now OCR and won't cause you any problems at all. So those are, I think, are the main headlines and main problems which I found in terms of moving pages around, converting to OCR. So I'm cutting those pages now. So those pages are going to go in a moment. They're going to go to there. No Control Z, as I say, and you'll realise how reliant you are on Control Z, most of you, when amending this. Right, now let's save this. I'm going to close it, just reopen it. First draft of service, 5th of June, that's this one. Now, let's see if I can search for a word that I've made OCR. I wonder if I... Find text here. Guidance, next, guidance, guidance, guidance. So those are fully searchable. Did I... So that actually can read those documents anyway. So the documents which are created from Word will be searchable in any event in reality, won't they? Let's see what happens if I edit that page. Right, so that's been edited. Let's see a word from there. Vegan, I don't think that will be in the... So let's search for vegan. Still doesn't find it. It's because it hasn't converted that word vegan. Let's see if it finds natural. Spell natural correctly. So it does find natural, but it doesn't find vegan. So it's not a foolproof process. Let's go. So now that has been done OCR. Turns out natural occurs a lot in, there we go. So it has highlighted that once it's been converted to OCR. So that's really what the courts want it for. But you'll see just on this page, that should say skinny booze. And it's say, well, it's nonsensical, isn't it? So there's a payoff here, isn't there? The ability to search for some words on a picture and the inability to read others. That's really what I'm talking about in terms of care. So now, if we want to go to page 24 of this training guide, So what I want to show you now is adding page numbers. So on this document now, we have 4 pages of the guidance on the PDF bundles, which I've been referring to obviously. And at page 5 is the first page of the actual evidence. 1, 2, 3, deleted page 3, 4, etc. So this is a good example. So to add the page number in, we go to that page thumbnail there, we click that drop down box there for the options, and we page label. So from page 5 to 6, we want that numbering 1, 2, 3, etc. sequentially. Now the courts want a prefix so that that page number is easily searchable just by using the search tool. So we're going to use page A1. So this is page A1, this is page A2. Now because we only highlighted those 2 pages, we go back onto here and this goes back to the original page numbering. But because that's page 4, I've obviously deleted page 3 somehow. We want this numbering page 4. Now how many pages do we want this to go up to? Let's go up to this page. So this is page 10 or 12 or 42. We want those to run sequentially. So we go back to the original page that we wanted. That's this one. We thumbnail, page labels. So from page 5 to page 10 will be sequential, and it will start at 4 because that was the page number. So we have A4, A5, A6, A7, etc. Now this is useful for different bundles. So the next bundle might be, this might be the core bundle that we've created. The next bundle might be case references, for instance. So we want, this is page 95. So thumbnail, page labels. So that's page 12 of the bundle, but we want it to run to page 20. It starts at 95. I'll call that B. Okay, so you see B, 95, 96, 98. That fits with the page number of the document on the page. Now what you can't do, or what I have been unable to do, is add in a page number onto the page. So that will require manual work. Now from my point of view, I don't see why you need to actually physically number the page. If everyone's working on this thumbnail, then there's no need to, is there? So what you can do if all of the pages are OCR, you can insert a page number. But if you're running some pages are non-OCR and some pages are, you could only insert a page number on the ones that are OCR, as it were. So if the court is desperate to have physical page numbers on each page, then that will require printing out writing on the page and then scanning back in. If that's what you're going to do, you want to do that before you start this system of editing the PDFs for obvious reasons, because you're going to have to redo that. If you've got any questions, put them in either the comments or email me at jameswilson@psqb.co.uk or send me a DM on tweets or Instagram or via the YouTube channel.